Hey, what's going on, Cloud Scholars? I hope your day is going well. My name is Kieran Tross. I also want to say a special welcome to those this is your first time viewing the page. Today, we're going to talk about how to set up your network security groups with flow logs. So NSG flow logs is what we're going to be talking about here on this video. I'm going to do a mixture of a how-to and what is with this video because I want to kind of start off with explaining flow logs and then also explaining what we're going to be doing in this lab. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over from our Azure portal screen that you're seeing right now, and I'm going to jump over to a PowerPoint deck. So first off, I just want to let you all know that this will not take too long. So if you have come on to this page just to kind of see, or this video, I should say, to see how you can configure this, I will get to that really shortly. So first, what is an NSG flow log? So a network security group flow logs is a feature of Azure Network Watcher that allows you to log information about IP traffic flowing through an NSG. Flow data is sent to Azure storage accounts from where you can access it as well. Export it to any visualization tool, SIM, or IDS of your choice. So basically what you want to do with these flow logs is a way for you to now capture that data, and then this way you can analyze what's going on in your network and then also identify any threats if there are any threats. So why use NSG flow logs? So as I mentioned before, I talked a little bit about identifying any threats. First off is network monitoring. You want to identify unknown or undesired traffic. You want to monitor traffic levels and bandwidth consumptions, filter flow logs by IP, and port to understand application behavior. Another thing is usage monitoring and optimization. You want to identify top talkers in your network combined with geo IP data to identify cross-region traffic. So that is another thing. So if you have resources in different parts of the world and you're noticing a high utilization, you may need to bump up resources in certain areas. And then compliance. Use flow data to verify network isolation and compliance with enterprise access rules. And then network forensics and security analysts analyze network flows from compromised IPs and network interfaces. So let's talk a little bit about how this logging works. Flow logs operate at layer 4 and record all IP flows going in and out of your NSG. That's your network security group. Logs are collected at a 1-minute interval through Azure platform and do not affect customer resources or network performance in any way. Logs are written in JSON format, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. And they show outbound and inbound flows on per NSG rule basis. And then each log record contains the network interface, the NIC. The flow applies to 5 tuple information, the traffic decisions. There's now a version 2, and I will get to that a little bit later. If some of this isn't making any sense, it will make more sense later on in this video. And then finally, flow logs have retention features that allow automatic deleting the logs up to a year after their creation. So flow log properties. So this is pretty much how the flow logs will come out. So this is, it'll show up in JSON, but this is pretty much the formatting of it. So you have the time, system ID, the properties. There's a lot of information here. I only took a quick screenshot, and I'm going to put a description, a link to the website that you get from Microsoft that literally talks about the properties of the flow log. What I really want to concentrate in this video is the MAC address, timestamp, source IP, and destination IP. Just getting that information as if you get into your career, or if you're already within an architect role or just got an architect role and you're trying to figure out something for a customer or even your own company, this information here is really going to help you out. So if there was some kind of identity and you needed to identify some risk or some suspicious IP address, you get your flow logs and you'll be able to get the information from the source IP address. So storage accounts. So another thing that we're going to need to do within network security flow logs is we need to set up a storage account, because those flow logs are going to go towards that storage account, and it's going to be within a blob container. So basically, the location of the storage account use must be in the same region as a network security group. Performance tier, currently only standard tier storage accounts are supported. Self-managed key rotation. If you rotate the access keys to your storage account, NSG flow logs will stop working. To fix this issue, you must disable and then re-enable the NSG flow log. And then finally, flow logging cost. Logs are billed based on the volume created. So keep that in mind. So if you have an NSG flow log and you've got, your network security group associated by subnet, and you've got about 40 different VMs in that subnet, high volume, you're gonna, pick up a lot of volume. The logs are gonna grow substantially pretty quickly. So let's talk a little bit about what we're setting up today. So we start off with the bottom left-hand corner. We have two virtual machines. So we have a demo VM, which is going to be a Windows 11 machine. And then we're going to have a demo web server. That's going to be a 2019 server, which is going to have IIS running on it. Now, both machines are already provisioned. I didn't go through setting up IIS through this video because I kind of assumed that anybody watching this would know that. But I do, if you have any questions about how to set that up, just leave a comment, or you can just look it up online. There's definitely a lot of information out there to set up the IIS role on a Windows 2019 server. From there, we're going to set up our network watcher, right? We need to have the NSG flow logs, and that's within network watcher. Now, I have an asterisk there where it says enable network watcher and then enable Microsoft Insights. So for this video, I will go through setting up your network watcher, but I will not be going through enabling it. It's already enabled in my environment. So I have that as an asterisk there just so that you know that if you're trying to follow along with this video as I go through the lab, you may run into an issue if you never had Network Watcher enabled, but it's really quickly to enable. You're just going to see it pop up. Azure is just going to ask you for it. So basically, the NSG flow logs are going to grab the information from the network security group and take that information, and those logs are going to go to the Azure storage account on the top right. What happens from that point on is we're going to get that within a blob container, and then we're going to drill down to a file called P21H, and it's going to be a JSON file. From there, we're now going to go and we're going to look through that JSON file and see exactly what the source IP address is and how things our traffic is going in and out of that network security group. So I feel like that's enough talking that I've done. Let's jump over to the Azure portal and get this thing going. So as I mentioned before, we have our demo VM1 and then a demo web server. And then we have both machines going through public IP addresses associated with them. And what I want to do is I'm just going to come up to this demo web server over here. And I'm going to grab this IP address here. And what I'll do is I'm going to pop this in here. I'm going to try and get to that machine. As you can see right now, I'm not able to pull that up. So what I need to do is I need to come over here. And I need to go to networking. And then within networking, I need to add a rule, an inbound port rule. So I'm going to add an inbound port rule here. And I'm going to say source any, and it's also the range, destination any as well. And right here, I'm going to go HTTP because I want to have, it's going to be a web traffic that's going to be coming in. It's going to be a web server, I should say. And then what I'll do is I'll just click on add. So I'm going to give that a little while. And I could have changed the name here, but it's fine. I'll just leave it as default. Allow any HTTP inbound process to come through. And then what I'll do is I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to press it again. Okay, good. Now we're able to hit our web server, which is fine. So that's exactly what we want. So the next thing I want to do is, so I have the VM set up with the IIS already set up. I'm already getting that going through. Actually, I need to do one more thing, which I'm going to do is I'm going to add another rule for RDP because we have this machine over here, which is a demo VM. We're going to do RDP so we can see exactly how the traffic looks from the VM RDP versus traffic from port 80. All right, so we have our inbound traffic coming from RDP, and it's any access. Normally in production environment, you wouldn't set it up this way, but I'm just here just to show you pretty much how we can view the NSG flow log. So that's the only reason why it's coming up this way. Other than that, I would never recommend anybody doing this in a production environment. So we have this set up. So one of the things we need to do now is we need to actually go over to storage accounts. And we need to set up our storage account. Local redundant is perfectly fine. We can leave all these settings the way they are. All right, so our storage account is created. I went to it relatively quickly. I'm kind of expecting if you're watching this video, you know how to create a storage account. But I do have videos over here at Cloud Scholars. We have videos for creating storage accounts. So if you need to look up anything such as storage accounts, definitely look at one of the videos where I go into a little bit more detail about the network storage accounts. So the next thing you want to do is I'm going to jump over here to this network watcher. And what I'll do is I'm going to come here to NSG flow logs, and I'm going to create an NSG flow log. So right here, when I choose the East-West NSG, you see right here, storage accounts already populates that one for me. So that's good. So then retention days, I'm just going to throw any number in here. I'm just going to put 30, which is fine. So now we have this option here, which is the version 1, version 2. So version 2 of the logs introduce the concept of flow state. You can configure which version of flow logs you receive. And if we go through the Microsoft documentation, it kind of goes through, all that information that you get when it comes to how the JSON comes up, and then some more information that you're able to apply to it. But you need to have version 2 if you want to get that flow state option within the JSON for your log format. So we're going to go with version 2 for it. And then when it comes to tags, we'll leave it as no tags. And then we're just going to click on review and create. And then we're going to recreate. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So it takes a little while. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to my virtual machines. And I'm going to RDP into this demo VM1, and I'm going to actually connect to this web server a few times. And I'm going to come back to the video, and this way I can show you exactly, what kind of information we're going to pull from our NSG flow log. So I really got to, kind of do some work and provide it some activity so that it can log that information. And then once it logs that information, we can look at it later on. Okay, so now we're back. And a couple things. So I remoted into the demo VM1 a few times, and I connected to the web server a few times as well. And one of the things I want to show you is when you go into the storage accounts, which has your NSG, you're going to go to containers, and you're going to see this new one pop up. It's going to say Insights, Logs, Network Security Group, Flow Event. And then you're going to drill through it. So it's going to be resource ID, you're going to go to subscription, you're going to hit, it's just going to keep going all the way. And then what you're looking for is, you'll see that it will come up with different stuff. So it's giving us the year, it's giving us the month, it's giving us the date, all that other stuff. And we'll go with 20, and then we'll go 00. And then we have the MAC addresses. If you remember, we associated our network security group with the whole subnet. So it's going to actually pull every machine that's associated with that subnet. Is going to grab that information. So how do we go about finding our MAC address for our virtual machines? So we come to our virtual machines. So let's start with demo VM1. And then we go to demo VM1, we're going to go on networking, and then we're going to click on the network interface card. And then over here, we're going to drill down, we're going to look for properties, and then right here, you see it. So we know the demo VM1 machine is going to end with 6AE0. So I'm going to come back over here, and we have 6AE0. And then you're looking for this file right here, this P21H JSON. If you click on it, you have the ability to do a couple different things. It shows you the versions, gives you the overview, last modified, creation, it gives you the time. And if we go to edit, you can see the information here. Now, you can view it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to Visual Studio Code and then pull it there because the JSON actually just looks a little bit more easier to read. But I'm going to jump over, before I even get into that, I want to kind of show you the other one as well. So I'm going to close out of this because this is just a lot to read. And you can see we have our MAC address right here. And it shows us a couple of different things in the tuples. But I'm going to go into that a little bit in greater detail when I pull up the Microsoft Studio as well. So I'm going to come back. Let's jump back. And we could go up to this one now. And you're going to see it's the same thing. You click on edit, and this is for the web server. So let me switch over to the Visual Studio Code so you can see how it looks when you download it. So you could pretty much just download it and open up in Studio Code, and you just click here to download. As you can see here, I have a file that I already downloaded, but I modified the name so it's easier for us to read. Okay, so now we are in Visual Studio Code, and you notice I have the PT1H underscore demo VM. So we know this is the one that's associated with the demo VM. And then we have the P21H underscore demo web server. So this is still a lot to go through and read. And you can see it says network security group flow event. It gives us the subscription, East US group, provider. It's given us the NSG. So this information is coming up, but we have these different rules, and we're looking for the one that we recently created, which was the allow HTTP and then the RDP one as well, to see exactly how traffic is going through there. But just as a reminder, I'm just going to jump back over to the Microsoft documentation so you can see exactly how we're reading it and the properties of all this information. So over here back on the Microsoft website, I'm actually going to leave this in the description as well, but you can see the log format. So this is exactly what I showed in the PowerPoint deck earlier in this video. And we really want to get down to where it has the flow tuples. And then there is going to give us the timestamp, the source IP address, and the destination IP address that we want to pay attention to. So let's talk about my destination IP address. So that's my IP address that I'm coming from right now, associated right now with my Mac. So what I'm going to do is I am going to jump back. I'm going to pull this information, and let's see what happens. I'm actually connected to a hotspot at the moment. So give me 2 seconds. And instead of reading through all of this, I'm actually just going to do control find, command find, and I'm going to plug this information in. It's already there, and there you have it. So you see user rule allow any RDP impound, and you see right here it's giving us the timestamp, it's giving us the source IP, which is mine, and then it gives us the 10004. That 10004 is the IP address of our demo web server. If you don't believe me, let's jump to it and let's just make sure that I'm not lying. So we're back at the Azure portal, and I'm going to go to the demo web server, and I'm going to look for the internal IP address. Demo VM, excuse me, and here we have 10004. So let's see what the demo web server is, which is 10005. So let's jump back over and look at the JSON file for the web server. So here we are, back over. So I'm going to click on the web server now, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to search for my IP address, and then here you have it, 10005. So that is how you go about setting up your network security group. Let me get this out of here. I don't need to see that. But anyway, as I was saying, that is how you set up your NSG flow logs for your network security group. I hope that this video was beneficial, exactly what you were looking for when you started searching for NSG flow logs. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with us at Cloud Scholars. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like and subscribe button. I had a lot of fun setting up this video and creating this video for you. I think that we got a lot of information in here, But as I always say, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put anything down in the comments. We are more than happy to respond to you. So that does it for us all. Appreciate all you cloud scholars out there for spending the time with us. If, as always, our goal is to get you from scholar to consultant and from consultant to expert. Thank you, and see you next time.